That's it.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is Morrow not here then?
He's not here.
Is he coming? Do we need to wait a few minutes?
Nope.
Is there a revised agenda?
If that's probably the
I-
revised one,
I
if it says
asked-
your name on it.
Well, I asked for some things to be corrected.
Okay, everybody rise, please. We'll start out with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, in lieu of a prayer today, I would ask everybody to pray in your own way. But Trumbull County lost a very important member of our family yesterday. Mrs. Kelly Bryant worked at 911 for 27 years. She was there since the beginning of the 911 center where it is now. She was a dedicated employee, a mother, and she pretty much gave her life to the 911 center. She's been active and involved in fire services throughout her career, throughout her life. And she succumbed to cancer and actually worked right up to the very end. Didn't take leave. She wanted to finish it out in style and class and dignity with her fellow employees there. So we lost her yesterday, so we can just have a moment of silence for Kelly Bryant and pray in your own way, please. Thank you. Okay, the next public workshop will be Tuesday, June 6th in this room, 10 a.m. The next regular meeting will be Wednesday, June 7th, also in this room at 10:30 a.m. And Madam Clerk.
Mr. Cantala Mesa. Ms. Frenchco.
Here.
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Item number 1, to dispense with reading the minutes of the regular meeting dated May 24th, 2023, and accept and approve the video recording of the May 24th, 2023 Commissioners' regular meeting as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to accept.
A second, just for discussion purposes, I did not receive any supporting documentation to show that this is the proper way to record the minutes. I know that the Board of Commissioners has counsel to defend themselves in a lawsuit relative to open meetings issues, but they also obtain that counsel for the purpose of giving advice. So if there was advice given relative to the proper way to do this, since we're doing it differently, it should be shared with all three commissioners, and I have yet to receive anything. It is also my understanding that video or any type of audio recording in lieu of meeting minutes must, based on the revised code of me reading it, have the person announce their name before they talk, and I don't think that's happened at any of the meetings.
Okay. I got the information from the CCAO. Detailed information from them that this is approved and done commonly in many other counties throughout Ohio. I can give you the name and phone number of the person that I talked to. We can ask for it in writing. If you'd like to do that from him, you can do so. The Ohio Revised Code clearly states it also. The interpretation that I believe of the ORC that was given to us by legal counsel in Ohio and from a attorney with the Ohio Ethics Commission also, I believe stands. If you'd like to obtain that information, you can also, you can challenge it, whatever you feel, but.
To do a records request, and if the clerk could document that in the meeting minutes and to obtain everything that Commissioner Malloy just mentioned that he had that states that this is approved, because it should have been, if there's a significant change like that, given the litigation, it should have been included in the meeting packet. So, and there was nothing.
Okay,
Mr. Malloy, I'm sorry.
I give you everything we have
There's-
except for the attorney-client privilege stuff.
There's, if it is advice to the board, because the attorney was retained not only to defend, but to advise the board and other officials on matters to make sure we're doing things the right way moving forward. If it was that type of advice, it should be shared with the entire board. So I'd like that.
Okay, call the vote.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Item number 2, to approve the bills.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 3, to transfer monies.
Motion to approve as written.
I could second for discussion purposes. This is an item that, our clerk and assistant clerk gather the information and include it in our packet that, or my packet that explains the reasons for the transfer, shows documentation or something to put in the file. And again, as common in, on these agendas, our commissioner's office is the only one here that didn't. I'm thankful that sanitary engineers gave an explanation, but our own office did not. So
It was a 911 move. This is her budgeted fund she requested. Auditor Yoder, if you want to elaborate, this is 911 funds so that 911 can operate.
I want to see, it's not the auditor, it's our commissioner's office staff. And I'd like our commissioner's office staff to.
Auditor Yoder, that transfer amount from the general fund to 911 is actually the amount approved by the commissioners as part of the 2023 budget back in March. It was just requested a little bit later than usual by Patty Goldner, and there was a letter that was dated 5/10/23 requesting that transfer. It's money that has already been approved.
I put a copy in your box this morning. I was off yesterday, but saw your note, so there is an explanation in your box. You want to see it?
Letter explanation.
So you
right
just
there.
gave it, okay.
She was off for the last 4 days.
Well, either way, I asked Lisa and she completely refused to do it. So, and in her absence, if there's going to be an assistant clerk, the assistant clerk should be providing things.
I don't know that she had it. The request came to me from Miss Patty, so it was on my email, but I did
okay.
print it for you. Thank you. Mr. Malloy,
I would.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 4, to approve additional appropriations.
Motion to approve as written.
I'd just like to make a motion to modify to eliminate common pleas because they didn't provide any type of explanation. And that's for the purpose of making sure that the rest of them could move because I won't be voting on something that I didn't review. So either we could have 3 of them done or none of them done.
Auditor Yoder.
With regard to the additional appropriation for adult probation, the 468.50, this was money that was on hand that was not allocated. They're fixing an over budget in the vehicle maintenance account.
Okay. There's a problem with this because I know you're the auditor and that's great, but the duty of the budgeting and making sure that there's oversight and things are done properly falls statutorily squarely on the Board of Commissioners. And it's going to come up in our audit. I've already done the exit interview because there's a separation of duties. And we need to make sure that that falls on the appropriate department. And the biggest duties of the Board of Commissioners statutorily are the budget and contracting. And so while I appreciate that, that everything has, that the commissioners in the past have been trying to get along by using other elected officials to do the job that they don't have staff to do, I think we need to make sure that we're doing those things ourselves.
Then I would
And-
recommend
and-
you lead by example and reach out to common police court and take the bull by the horns and find the information out yourself. Then if you don't want to trust it from the auditor, that would be the simple way. If you wanted to know what the money was for and you wanted to be prepared, is to reach out to common police yourself then if you think we should do it.
It's not a matter of thinking we should do it. If you're in contact with the County Commissioners Association, they will tell you that it's unheard of to have an auditor do the budgeting. And in addition to that, there are dozens of these every week. And that is what our staff is for. If it's the case that the commissioner should be doing everything, then we can save a lot of money and just, get rid of the staff. Because in all honesty, that is what the clerk and the assistant clerk are supposed to do, is prepare these things. And we should, in other communities that actually do it the right way, they have a budget or finance officer who will receive these requests a week in advance, not just throw them on the agenda the day before the meeting. And they come over and are put on our agenda without explanation, which is why even in Mahoning County, they share the explanation on the budget, because even in Mahoning County, they realize it's the role of the commissioners to manage the budget.
I speak according to the court. I know that there's a letter from the Honorable Judge Harwood that states that, maybe you could reach out to her. I don't believe they're giving us explanations. Lisa has been reaching out, so I know that I believe Ms. Camuso wrote her letter. So I'm just saying it's not that we're not trying. So I could get you a copy of that email, ma'am.
So the judge is refusing.
Not refusing. She just said she could talk to you about it. I can't speak for the judge.
I've contacted the judge and reached out to them, and I don't think the judges realize that the body that is responsible for approving budget transfers, appropriations and everything are the commissioners, not the judges, and that she needs to actually work and comply with the requests that I'm making, because hopefully in the future, we'll have a board that recognizes the value of their statutory role, and we'll start doing things better. But until then, I'd like to actually see things before I vote on them.
I gotta say, this sounds quirky, but we have department heads there. We have different departments. There's a check and balance system through there. The people in place are qualified. And I don't know if you ever saw the movie Tommy Boy or not, but there's a line in there where it says, if you want to see a steak, you can stick your head up a bull's ass and look, but I'd like to trust the butcher. I kind of like to trust the auditor, and I kind of like to trust the judges here that they know what they're doing and what they're saying.
Okay, the auditor's role is completely different than the commissioner's role, and the judge's role is completely different than the judge, than the commissioner's role. And I would suggest that you look at the revised code or contact CCO, which you said you already have to find that out.
Okay, so you
So
are
I'm
trying to
fine.
modify?
Yeah, I made a motion to modify to eliminate. the
Okay, that
professional
motion dies for lack of a second,
Okay,
so we can vote on the original one, and if it doesn't pass, then that will have to generate conversation between you and the Honorable Judge Harwood then, and
actually, we
Figure
can vote on the rest of them. But if you don't want to work with, to help the sheriff, planning commission and the health board to get that done, that'd be on you.
vote.
Motion to approve additional appropriations, Mr. Malloy,
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
Not as listed, only with the exception of common pleas because they didn't send anything over.
that would be enough.
Item number,
So I'd like to make a motion from the floor to approve the additional appropriations submitted to Trumbull County Auditor's Office between the dates of May 23 and May 27 for the health board, for the sheriff, and for community development.
I'll second that.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Item number 5, to transfer appropriations.
motion to approve as written.
Second,
Mr. Malloy.
and for discussion, I just want to say thank you because I've been trying to get this accomplished for over a year. The staff actually obtained information on all of these items, and I appreciate that.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes,
Item number 6, to receive the amended certificate of the County Budget Commission, number 8, 2023.
motion to approve.
second,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
yes,
Item number 7, to approve, execute the memorandum of understanding with ASME Local 2493 in regards to a proposed personnel changes to the Trumbull County Building Inspection Department. Note memorandum of understanding will create a non-union office administrator manager position, leaving the existing union assistant building official in place but not filled, increase the secretary position from a pay range 5 to a pay range 7, and create a residential building inspector trainee position and provide additional trainer certification pay to existing building inspectors.
motion to approve.
second.
And discussion, I just wanted to thank Director Slawinski for his efforts to restructure that department. I think that those changes are needed to create the training. Thank you for providing the additional information yesterday by sharing the job descriptions with me yesterday afternoon, and that explanation, because I think that when you have something on the agenda that's just a memorandum of understanding, we need to let the public know. And I think it's really good that you that you made the management position, administrator position classified instead of union. I think that's going to be helpful for you to get the most qualified person there. And I hope we can advertise this very soon, like tomorrow or today.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Item number 8, to receive and place on file the Trumbull County Engineers 2022 Annual Report as submitted by the Trumbull County Engineer, Randy Smith.
motion to approve.
second,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
yes,
Item number 9, to grant the right-of-way permit, and that's with Brightspeed.
motion to approve the right-of-way permit for Brightspeed.
second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Item number 10, to grant the special hauling permit to move overweight equipment over Trumbull County roadways, and that's with TJ Potter Trucking.
motion to approve the permit.
second,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
yes,
Item number 11, to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permit, and that's with SCD Management Incorporated.
motion to approve.
second,
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 12, to grant permission to the county engineer to close the road listed, that's East Liberty Street, the Girard Bridge located in the city of Girard, the closing location between State Route 422 and Marshall Road at the Girard Bridge for the Mount Carmel Festival fireworks presentation. That's on Sunday, July 16th, 2023. The closing times will be from 8 until 12 a.m.
Motion to approve granting the county engineer the road closure at East Liberty Street.
Second?
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 13, to award the lowest responsive and responsible best bid as submitted by Marucci and Gaffney Excavating Company for the TRU TH 95A Layer Road, Warren number 1 Bridge Replacement Project in the amount of $787,100.25. This is funded by 100% Federal Bridge Funding Program grant received through the County Engineers Association of Ohio, which is a direct pay. No highway or general funds are required, and to enter into a contract with Marucci and Gaffney Excavating Company for said project. The engineer's estimate of this project was $789,876. And another bid that was received was Eclipse Company LLC, and they came in at $800,008.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 14, to authorize Denny Malloy, President of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners, to execute on behalf of Trumbull County the renewal certification application, Ohio Electric Governmental Aggregators, and affidavit with the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. And the renewal will be effective for the period of July 27th, 2023 through July 27th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mis-
Discussion? With this, we had a presentation yesterday from Energy Harbor, which is the broker for electricity. As many people read in the newspaper over the weekend, they're projecting First Energy is going to almost double their rates up to 12 MCF, I believe, or what it is. It's not too late for the public to sign up with Energy Harbor, the same company we signed with, just for the good of the county. Their rates will be $4.53 a unit, where First Energy is going to go up to 12, almost triple what that rate is. If they call and sign up with Energy Harbor, it'll be in effect till March of 2025. So they'll beat this big increase. And the phone number for that, for the record, is 866-636-3749. And the name of the company again is Energy Harbor. So for those of you that are afraid that you didn't sign up, now they did explain there are some municipalities that this is not allowed, where their townships signed with somebody else or don't have an agreement. But for most of the county, I looked afterward, it covers about 75% of the county is eligible. So I would recommend, if not this, but citizens go and look to get locked in with somebody else, because First Energy is projecting it's going to go up to $12, which is pretty steep, more than what we paid in my adult lifetime, at least.
So I think that's important, and for you from the media, I'd like to give you a copy of this so that you can make sure, because I think it's important that our people know, and I can just give them a copy of this so that you can see afterwards, so that everyone, hopefully people can head that off.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 15, to authorize payment of $4,350 for Trumbull County's annual membership dues for the program year 2023 to the Ohio Workforce Association. The Ohio Workforce Association is the statewide organization for workforce directors and benefits the Workforce Development Board of Trumbull County, the Trumbull County OMJ Center, and the Trumbull County Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act organization.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16, to award the only bid as submitted by the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services, Ohio Means Job Centers Operator. The contract is effective for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2025, with an optional 2-year extension. The Ohio Means Job Center Operator is required by the state of Ohio.
Motion to approve as written.
Second, and discussion, I was just hoping that Mr. Turner, within the next like year or two, that we can find out what other communities are paying that are similar, because this has the extension, but it'd be nice to know so that we know that we're paying the same or something similar.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 17, to approve a lease agreement by and between Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services and Pitney Bowes Incorporated and the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services through NASPO Value Point. The lease agreement is for the term of 60 months, commencing upon delivery of equipment at a cost of $620.89 per month for a total amount not to exceed $37,253.40. Pitney Bowes will provide postage meter rental with IntelliLink services and includes a standard service level agreement.
Motion to approve the lease agreement between Trumbull County Department of Jobs and Family Services and Pitney Bowes.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 18, to enter into a non-reimbursable extension agreement for the extension of a water line in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 307.73 with Jerry Altabelli, Managing Member of Home and Land Developers LLC on Potter Circle, Liberty Township, Southeast Public Water System, known as Project Number 1W 2023.
Motion to approve the extension of the water line with Altabelli.
Second.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 19, to approve detailed sewer drawings submitted by Jerry Altabelli, Managing Member of the Home and Land Developers LLC for the extension of a water line on Potter Circle, Liberty Township, Southeast Public Water System, known as Project Number 1W 2023.
Motion to approve the detailed drawings submitted by Jerry Altabelli for the water line extension in Liberty Township.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 20, to enter into a non-reimbursable extension agreement for the extension of a sanitary sewer in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 307.73 with Jerry Altabelli, Managing Member of Home and Land Developers LLC on Potter Circle in Liberty Township, Trumbull County Combined Sanitary Sewer District, Metropolitan Subdistrict, known as Project Number 2S23.
Motion to approve entering a non-reimbursable extension agreement for sanitary sewer with Jerry Altabelli, the Managing Member of Home and Land Developers and on Potter Circle in Liberty Township.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 21, to approve detailed sewer drawings submitted by Jerry Altabelli, Managing Member of Home and Land Developers LLC for the extension of a sanitary sewer on Potter Circle in Liberty Township, Trumbull County Combined Sanitary Sewer District, Metropolitan Subdistrict, known as Project Number 2S23.
Motion to approve the detailed sewer drawings submitted by Jerry Altabelli for the sanitary sewer in Liberty Township.
Second. Discussion. I just want to note on here, this is for 37 lots. And as we've discussed here on the board many times before, there is an influx of economic development happening in our county. And this is going to help alleviate some of the housing crisis that we have here and we will continue to have into the future. So we applaud them for this project.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 22, to approve the personnel action for the employment transfer of Mr. Gino Chichillo from the position of sewer line maintenance crew assistant, pay range 4, 3 years, $17.53 to the position of TV Inspector Grouting Assistant Technician. The pay range for 3 years, $17.53 with the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department. And this is effective Friday, June 2nd, 2023.
Motion to approve the personnel action for the employment transfer of Mr. Gino Chichillo.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 23, to concur with the Trumbull County Planning Commission to request the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners for the following: to concur with the Trumbull County Planning Commission and Chief Building Official and select MS Consultants Incorporated as the most qualified engineering firm to provide professional engineering services for the purposes of conducting certain studies and reports required by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, for up to 5 properties found to be non-compliant with the requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program in accordance with the Trumbull County Special Purpose Flood Damage Reduction Regulations. And number 2, authorize the commencement of finalizing the project scope and price proposal negotiation process with representatives from the Planning Commission, the Chief Building Official's Office, and MS Consultants Incorporated.
Motion to approve as written.
Second.
Mr.
And discussion. I'm very happy that we're able to do this. We've had so many complaints about that area. I'm thankful that this is the first time Trumbull County's ever done anything like this, and we're doing it to help people because of a problem that came into existence before either of us were on the Board of Commissioners. And it's nice that we can do this to try to help these people, and it's a good use of our funds.
I agree. And this has been like a bad penny or toothache that's been nagging for years and years and years. And I'm glad the Planning Commission is at the point now where we can step in and actually help these people. This will cover 3 different areas: Warren Township, Champion, and Holland. And it's just a start to rectifying or finding a solution for a bigger problem that still exists out there.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 24, to authorize the clerk of the Trumbull County Commissioner's Office to publish a request for statement of qualifications in the legal section of the Tribune Chronicle on June 6, 2023 for engineering services in connection with the PY 2022 CDBG Critical Infrastructure Grant Townsend Avenue Storm Drainage Improvement Project in Liberty Township. Engineering firms interested in being considered for a contract to provide the required services shall submit 4 copies of their statement of qualifications and required county forms to the attention of Paula Vovoda Klotz, clerk, 160 High Street, Northwest 5th floor, Warren, Ohio, 44481, no later than 3 p.m. on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023.
Motion to approve authorizing the clerk of the commissioners to publish a request for qualifications relative to the CDBG critical infrastructure grants in Liberty Township.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 25, to approve the Community Reinvestment Area, the CRA agreement with Steel and Liberty LLC. The company is requesting tax incentives of 75% for 10 years for the construction of a new 55,000 square foot extended stay hotel with 89 to 99 rooms and include full kitchen studio rooms on parcel number 12-009400 on 1610 Motor Inn Drive in Liberty Township, Ohio, 44420. This project includes the following investments: acquisition of buildings, the minimum is $105,000. The maximum is $105,000. Additions and new constructions, $5,800,000. The maximum, $8,800,000. Improvements to existing buildings, $0. $0 for minimum and maximum. Machinery and equipment, $200,000. The minimum. Maximum is $400,000. Furniture and fixtures, the minimum $1,700,000, maximum $2,200,000. Inventory, minimum $200,000, maximum $500,000. Total new project investments are a minimum $8,005,000, maximum $12,005,000. Steel and Liberty LLC plans to create 48 full-time permanent jobs and 36 part-time permanent jobs at the project site within 3 years of completing construction. Liberty Township trustees met regarding this project on Friday, May 19, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. at 1315 Churchill Hubbard Road, Youngstown, Liberty Township, Ohio, 44505, the Liberty Township Administration Building, and approved the abatement unanimously.
Motion to approve the community reinvestment area agreement with Still and Liberty LLC for 10 years in Liberty Township.
Second, and discussion. I would just like to say in this too, we hope, or at least I hope, that they do use local labor on this project, and I hope that they follow with their word, the commitment they had last week, that they were going to be in talks with our building trades and make sure this project is as much of a hometown flair as possible, being the fact that we are granting the abatement. I'm not real big, I guess, on abatements and communities losing taxes, but in this situation, the trustees voted unanimously. It's their community. They live, it's in the front yard of Liberty Township. So I'm going to concur with them and wish this company the best of luck. And we do need hotels. It is something that the county has a lack of. So I wish them the best of luck with this.
As it relates to economic development, tourism is actually short-term economic development. It yields income to the county, and we have a tremendous shortage of hotels for long-term stays. So the type of construction that's being proposed here will help fill a gap that is hugely needed for us to have longer-term economic development by having people, executives and people from other countries come and stay for periods of time. They're taking up a lot of the hotel spaces that we have in the Niles area that's not necessarily for longer term stays, but now that we have these types of units that will be there, I think it's going to not only help with the short term economic development, but with long term as well. So I'm thankful for this.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Okay, item number 26 is to approve a routine liquor permit, and that's a transfer from Speedgate Bar and Grill to Southtown Smokehouse and Saloon LLC.
Motion approved. A second.
I can second it for discussion. I just want to learn more about this. I'm familiar. I'm familiar. I have some familiarity and a lot of questions relative to this one. So.
Same location, it looks like, appears to be change of type of place. I don't know if there's a change in ownership of that location or not. I don't know that. But it is an establishment now that has liquor and has a bar atmosphere. So we're keeping it the same. It's not a new one. I don't know what reservations you have.
Reservations, I could say it. These people left a home that I had and left it grow boxes. It appeared to be they were selling things.
I'm not gonna touch those personal allegations.
But I want to learn a little bit more about I'm not feeling. I have personal knowledge of the people associated with us, and I just want to know a little bit more about it.
All right, how about we table it then
Yes,
for
okay,
future?
motion to
All
table.
right, motion to table this one till next week. and give you a chance to do a little more research on
We're
that.
not,
That second on the motion
Yes.
table?
Okay, motion to table, Mr.
Second.
Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes,
I could say something about that. We send these to Mr. Officer Palmer. So he might be a reference to discuss these with, and he tells me when I can put them on. So he,
Mr., who is it?
the Officer Palmer,
Major
Major
Paul.
Palmer, Major Palmer.
okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, Major
Yeah,
Palmer.
I want to talk to
Okay.
them about, because there's a lot more associated
Okay.
with this business.
And do I need to call the roll for this, Mr. Malloy?
No, we do
Oh,
a motion
okay.
to table.
And I
We
called-
went
Okay,
through.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Item number 27, to execute an agreement by and between Cuyahoga County on behalf of the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office in the corner of Trumbull County, authorizing the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office to provide necessary autopsy and other scientific testing services when demand exceeds local staffing capabilities. Trumbull County agrees to pay $2,000 per autopsy. The agreement is effective for the period commencing January 1, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2028.
Motion to approve utilizing Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office at the rate of $2,000 per autopsy as needed.
Second, I don't think that anyone from the coroner's office came to discuss this. So I don't think that anyone from the commissioner's office or anyone who was there yesterday found out how many autopsies would be needed, because it's the first thing that I asked when I reviewed this agenda item was, wait, why are we doing this when we already have someone that provides that service, and what would be the cap on it?
No.
And
She was asked to find out how many we paid for in the past.
I'm talking,
meeting yesterday.
this is a commissioners meeting, and let me finish.
Finish
Let me
yours,
I
and
don't
then I'm
even
gonna give the
think
floor to her for.
I don't think she has
comment.
any business participating in our meeting at this level. So, as it relates to the coroner's office, I actually spoke to the coroner since he didn't come in, and I found out the maximum amount that they need them. The only time they would be needing them is for 4 half weeks per year maximum. It's while the other coroner will be on vacation, or the investigator will be on vacation. And then in case there are emergencies, say there's a homicide or something that's on a weekend, and then they cannot let that wait. They will, so only in emergency cases and while the other individual is on vacation, will they be using anyone externally. And I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, because it looked a little funny to see that someone else is being contracted to do something that's normally done internally. So that's,
Did you do any of the research we asked yesterday?
Yeah, I was asked by the press. I was asked by the press about how much we had spent, and I don't have the figures in front of me. I can tell you that it's decreased. We went back to 18. It's decreased from a high of about 67,000 a year, and that was when they were priced lower. And this year thus far, they have spent 2,950 on it, 2,950. So those were the figures I remembered. That was the only thing I wanted to note, just because I had that in my head.
Thank you.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Item number 28, to appoint Ms. Michelle Miller as a member of the Trumbull County Mental Health and Recovery Board for the remaining term of Ms. Jane Boutwell of Cortland. Ms. Miller's term will commence on June 1st, 2023 and end June 30th, 2024.
Motion to appoint Michelle Miller, member of the Trumbull County Mental Health and Recovery Board.
Excuse me.
Second,
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes. There is something that I wanted to be added related to executive session, and I don't know if our HR director had a chance to send that over. It doesn't look like it is.
Good morning. I was asked to,
Alex.
Oh,
your
I'm
name,
sorry,
please.
Alexandra DiMagenzi Bush, Human Resources Director. I was asked to look into putting the 911 director discussions on today. I did send you an email this morning. I apologize. We're not there yet. I don't want to rush this decision. The candidates have been reached out to. They both have been scheduled a tour with 911 next week, one on Monday, one on Tuesday. I do not feel like we need to rush this. I want them to see the center. I want them to be able to do their own research. I want us to be able to do our own research as well after they've had the time to see the center. Take a look at everything, sit with the employees, hear the day-to-day nuances of the department. I want this to be somebody who has had all the information up front. I don't feel like it would behoove us to rush that and try to have that
I thought
conversation
there was
at the
only one
moment.
who requested the tour.
There's two. So I
One
talked to,
requested a tour and then you asked the other one if they wanted to.
correct.
also?
We wouldn't
Okay.
offer one to one and not the other. That wouldn't be fair. So we're making sure that we're being the most politically correct in this process. Because one requested it, I asked if the other would like the same
Okay.
opportunity. He did say yes, and that was yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
So that was
we
after,
spoke.
yes,
Okay.
correct. Yes. So Monday is the first candidate going to the 911 center and Tuesday is the second. And I will be there with both of them.
We might be, are there? I know we spoke like the next 2 or 3 down, just in case.
I'm not
Can
willing,
you, huh?
I wouldn't be willing I wouldn't recommend that, but if that's
Okay.
what the commissioners
Well, I
want to
don't know.
do,
That's why I wanted to have a
Yeah.
discussion because
I would highly discourage against that. There's a significant difference between the three that we, score wise versus anybody lower on the list, so to speak. So I wouldn't feel confident putting anybody outside of the top three that we
well, there were
chose.
vast differences even among.
There was, correct, amongst the
We
top.
talked
Yes,
about that,
that's
yeah.
correct. And I think we showed that through the process. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, this process has, I think, worked very well. I think that we've shown the strengths and the weaknesses in all of the candidates. And I think that we've done our due diligence and I'm just kindly
And the
asking.
fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause some people might be strong, but maybe not as fit. Like,
And this role is very, very, I don't want to say that I take this one near and dear, but I take all of them near and dear, but this one is beyond critical. When we're talking about people's public safety in this community, it is a huge ordeal. And I want to make sure that we cross all of our Ts, dot all of our Is and fully invest in this person and make sure that they're set up for success along the way as well. So we are doing things a little bit different. We've never taken candidates on tours of places in the past, to my knowledge, but I think that this is the right way to do this. They need to see what these people live and breathe and eat every single day.
yeah. One of my biggest concerns right now is the 911 consolidated plan. If we don't get that plan done.
I
then
agree.
We can't start charging more.
Correct.
To cover our services that we're providing to, all the communities, but most especially the city of Warren.
And I do agree
So,
with you on that. I think
yeah,
there's a lot of
so
things that
with
we
that-
have, there's a lot of very important and pertinent decisions that need to be made by this
That
upcoming
plan
director.
is so critical. It should have been started before and.
There's
one
multiple.
commissioner can't cause
Correct.
people to do what they need to do.
That
so.
plan, the overall feasibility
Yeah.
plan, I mean, we need all of those things. Also, this director is going to be tasked with the huge feat alone of potentially moving into a new building. I mean, these are things that, we really need to make sure that we're vetting these candidates through and that we're doing our due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't find them in this group, I have to be honest with you, or we can't fulfill it out of
Might
this
have
group.
to
We
re-advertise.
might have to do it
That's what-
again, and so be it, because obviously we had to do, with my role. So it's a challenge that we're going to be up against, but we're going to do what we need to do to make sure it's the right person for this county. At least I'm
Yeah.
going to. So,
Well, I'm glad you explained that because we just talked right before.
yeah, so I work till
Okay.
late. I apologize. I
Yeah.
mean, I work all night. I talked to Eric last night, so it was
Okay.
late last night. I did send you an email this morning, so you'll see that
Okay.
whenever you get in. But yes, I don't want to push this. I don't want to
Gotcha.
rush this. We have to cross our Ts and dot our Is. So, and I want to make sure that I feel fully vested and comfortable in a candidate.
I
before
agree.
recommend
Thank
anything.
you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, any more business from the,
I
Sure.
have discussed, yeah, the DC fly-in.
Okay.
I found out, I asked to see if you had registered yet. They said that they didn't have registration from you either. And I wanted to find out because I think it's important that one of the board members go. I went last year, I represented well, stood by the door, greeted everyone, participated in lobbying. I'm familiar with the goals associated with the mission there. And a lot of it relates to our military, and as a veteran and a member of the Board of Commissioners, I would like to be able to go.
I have no problem. If you want to go,
Okay.
you can go this year. I saw you did present a estimated budget
I have-
as we
It's in-
discussed.
Too, because this is the reason why the first meeting of the year, I requested a credit card because the credit cards. See, when we travel and we go to DC, we think our taxes are high here in Trumbull County or in Ohio. You go to DC and those sales taxes are incredible. And as a elected official going on behalf of the county, if we had a credit card, we wouldn't have to pay all of those taxes associated with our travel and hotel stay. So
Not necessarily, because the hotel stays, I looked at that and I do that. I've done that for the last 24 years. We are exempt in Ohio from Ohio state sales tax, not from sales tax in other states.
Oh.
So you still would pay the hotel
I guess
taxes and everything with the credit card.
chamber Did the chamber?
Don't
the
know.
state
They may be nationwide, something. They may have registration in DC. They may have some type of a lobbyist in DC, I would imagine. So they may have a registration there.
I'm sure they do.
But we
because the
can't.
chamber, we speak with the chamber nationally there too, and the chamber will typically rent a book, or I'm sorry, book or reserve a block of rooms, and then we would get them through the chamber. But this year they didn't reserve as many, and I believe last year, because it was through the chamber, there might not have been that. But now, since all those rooms are now booked, I will have to stay somewhere else that's nearby.
Well, we did,
It's gonna be-
one thing we did, I did look
it's gonna
into
be
the,
difficult.
I did look into the thing you submitted yesterday. And Alexandra called, they do have rooms at the host hotel. Because she called yesterday and talked to the,
Did you? I
Front desk.
actually called, I did also, and they said they
Alexandra?
didn't, the Hyatt does?
Alexandra DiVincenzi Bush, HR Director. So yes, I did call late last afternoon. Obviously, I was here working late. But with that being said, I called. It was pretty late in the afternoon. I think what time, maybe after 4:45-ish. They did say they had a double, so they have a couple rooms left on the top floor. They're 2 double beds. And they were available as of yesterday night when I called
they
because
have
other commissioners were
Gotta see
potentially
that.
looking into going as well.
I gotta see.
Yeah. So I would highly encourage you to call. There's a number right on the thing that I Googled
do
and
have
called.
it, But the thing is, I spoke to Roxy from the chamber
Okay, I didn't speak to
yesterday.
Roxy.
Well, she's the one who does the event coordination
Okay.
planning.
I did try to
I-
call her first. She didn't answer my call. So I called directly.
Yeah, well, she said that there is nothing available. And then
Okay.
whenever I actually looked at their website, it said there was nothing.
Okay,
So
I called just,
you had to call.
yep, I called
Okay.
Hyatt directly. I can't tell you exactly who I spoke with. It was one of their, customer service reps at the front
Sure.
I
desk.
think $535 a night.
I think it was 534 or 524.
Yeah.
It is pretty expensive.
It was
DC.
so much, no, but it was the earlier you plan, the better the cost.
Well,
and
that
that's
is with
why
any
I was
travel,
trying to
yes.
Make sure that we had credit cards so that we could do these things and
And I will tell you too, just to what Commissioner said, away. So in Ohio, we do have an H3 Gov, which I can help assist with or whoever. But we have an H3 Gov and we also have a state tax exemption blanket that exempts us from hotel taxes here
not
in Ohio,
flights.
but not
Yeah,
flights,
okay.
correct? So that would only apply to hotels. And then if you stay in Columbus, we have an additional excise tax allotment. So basically they'll take off not only the city, the state, but also any type of excess.
So for like
excise.
CCAO and conferences down there. Okay.
Correct. And I can help with that in the future, but that wouldn't apply to anything with Washington
Okay.
DC travel. We're still going to be paying the taxes no matter what. Whether it's
just
through the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber, it's still in DC. So therefore we're assuming those taxes in the travel. So
Yeah, they have.
unless it's in Ohio,
They do a bulk. They do a bulk.
they do
and
room block.
It costs less whenever they. do
And I
that.
think the $524 or $34 is that room block fee. So I
I'll
would,
find out.
yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying
Okay.
is I would advise if you can use the host hotel,
I'll see.
that
what I
would
can
be
do.
great because it would save on travel to and from wherever else you would stay to the event. The event, they have a full slate of events on Wednesday. They have a couple events Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And I would today, what I would be prepared to do after the discussion with the expense last week is cover what you had on that sheet with the exception of the hotels there do, and it wasn't just that hotel, but offer concierge service. If you can get a late checkout by requesting it for free up to 1 o'clock at this hotel. And then they will have concierge service after that where you can store your luggage without any fee. And most all hotels do that. And that one said that they did. So I would approve the rooms, the flight, the meals that aren't covered during the conference, and the travel to and from the events that are directly related to this, with the exception of a tip. Unfortunately, the
No, I know
ORC
tips
does
aren't
not allow
included.
tip. But I recommend you would tip the Uber drivers, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be allotted. It wouldn't legally be allowed. And if you do that, I have no problem with it. And even on the seat, if you pick your seat in advance, I have no problem with that.
That's what's
But when you
difficult.
upgrade after you book a flight, that's where the excessive fees come in.
It's not, it's at the same time. They call it.
If you do it at the same time,
did
I have
it
no
at the
problem
same
with
time-
that.
I did it at the same time last time too.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
So, I mean, some people don't want to be in a window, some people don't want to be in, I
No,
get that.
okay.
I mean, that's okay. As long as it isn't a special circumstance where you require 2 seats or something crazy,
No.
whatever,
Never
then-
traveled first class in my life.
then I have no problem approving that, and that's the way we should do it, I believe. I believe getting it estimates on this from what you're estimating is gonna be about $2,500. That's including the rooms, the flight and the stuff in between, kind of at a high end, and I would approve that as I would for
I'll try to
any,
get the cheapest one
commissioner
for you,
doing that.
obviously.
of course, that's,
Yeah.
That's what I'll.
that's what taxpayers would
But the
expect for all of
problem
us to
is
get the
I'm never
cheapest.
gonna do what I did last year by taking the late night one where I ended up getting stuck until early in the morning the next day. So I did that in order to get a very good price, but then the checkout wasn't covered. But I think that was wonderful though, because I had the opportunity to go and talk to the congressperson who didn't come to our event, so I'll work on that. And the other thing is I had a exit interview with the state auditor.
Well, do we want to vote on this thing first before we do that or not?
Oh.
Is that?
If you want to make a motion.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to reimburse you for expenses related to this with the stuff that we talked about, that without a extended stay in the hotel
No, I want to.
and without any other.
Because it could be a situation where there's a hotel change or something like that, and the clothes that you wear to I don't know. You would have to be able to go and change before that. I don't know what flights are going to be available at this point. I don't know if there's going to be anything at, 2 or whatever, or 3, as opposed to something later. We don't know the situation now, nor do we know even if there's going to be anything actually at that hotel. So that's not something that I would obviously intend to do unless it's a situation where I'm in a different hotel or I can't get a regularly, like a normal hour flight. So.
Well, I guess my motion is to approve you taking the trip to DC for the fly-in.
Only if it's at the Hyatt, because I
No,
don't.
not if it's only the Hyatt. If it's not at the Hyatt, if the rooms are gone by now or whatever, I understand. But you find something compatible, something close.
Yeah.
And you're responsible with that. And then the trips to and from there are all justified with receipts as policy and procedure and as ORC allows.
Yes, but if I have to stay at another place and I have to go back and change to fly.
That I would say if there is
allowable.
no other alternative where
Correct.
they don't have a concierge service where they can let you change in the shower room or the pool area or bathroom or whatever.
They don't allow people who are they don't allow people, like, it's just a given. If you don't stay at that hotel, they don't allow you access to their
I
amenities.
get that, but whatever hotel you stay at, I
Okay,
highly doubt
yeah.
that they won't have concierge service in DC. You're not gonna stay at a Super 8 on the outside of town, I'm sure. I mean, nobody would expect that either.
Once
But,
you, oh,
but if it's something reasonable, they probably will have a service where, hey, my flight's leaving later. I've done it many, many times.
it's a reasonable request, but it sounds like you're unreasonable, but that's fine.
Well,
I'm used to
that's
that.
what I'm willing to approve. If you
Yeah.
accept that,
Okay.
then that's where I'm at.
Okay,
Is that okay?
sure. And then
Okay,
if I-
that's what
if
my
I- but if
motion
I
is.
end up having to come back earlier. I can
Well, then
later.
then you can
Okay.
discuss it later, but I'm telling you what I will approve now. At that point, if something happens, I may not at that point if it goes above and beyond. I do not.
Second,
Is that a second?
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
And I wish you luck to bring back lots of money to the valley and lots of
I
goodwill.
mean, we got our C-130Js and the cost was a lot less. I'm working with, Representative Wojciech to do an improvement over there for the resurfacing too, for the port, so.
Okay, anything else from the bench? Anything from the floor?
Yeah, I did wanna. You can go ahead.
No, if you got something from the bench, let's do that first.
Audit exit interview. I think it's going to be incredibly important for if in the future, maybe in a month or so, we need to start addressing the audit findings. I had a full exit interview with the director of our regional office. And there are a lot of findings and management letters and things that we need corrected. There are things that they're still looking into from last year, things that they've already identified that could be problems with next year. One of the things they cited was separation of duties and another capacity. And I again reiterated that it's going on within our auditor's office too. So I think that we need to take a hard look at how we're doing everything. Many of those things are human resources related and policy related. Giving comp time, people working from home, which was a problem. Actually, we've got people who are working from home in JFS. And it was said that that is contributing to one of the problems that was a finding. So I'll be happy to bring all these things out as the person who went to the exit interview, as the commissioner who did, and have a meeting maybe publicly or not publicly with HR and with whoever else is related to making sure that we have these improvements in place so that we don't have any, so that we can reduce the findings next year, correct the problems, do things the right way, and prevent findings of recovery.
Alexandra DeVigency Bush, Human Resources Director. So we did already actually start working on the 17 management finding letters through a policies and procedures review that I had put together with elected officials of the county, because the personnel policy really has to do with everybody in this county. And I don't feel it's who of us to make decisions for all the other elected officials as well. So we had our first session 2 weeks ago. It was very effective. We had Sam Lamerkuska. We had, I can't say his last name correct, which is hilarious because mine's pretty hard too. We had Todd Littell. We had Auditor Yoder available. And it was very effective. So we're going through and we're making sure collectively that we're looking at these policies and procedures within our Trumbull County Personnel Manual. They are very old. They are inundated. The terms that are used they need reworked. It is a massive task. We actually got about halfway through. A lot of the things as well are federal labor law, right? So FMLA is federal labor law. So those are all things that are within my wheelhouse. That is no problem. So yes, you are right. There's a lot of human resources things and policies, including comp time policies. I'm actually working with the state myself to look at how they do comp time policies and or flex time. So that way, and I've actually have research going on right now in the background. So just know that we are doing our due diligence right now. I'm doing my due diligence.
And can we get this across to the reason you're looking into this? I originally sent you all the findings.
Yes, I do have the 17 management letter findings, and I also did share it with obviously anybody who didn't have it on the committee, because I want everybody to be very well aware of what's going on.
A lot of those things resulted from me requesting that the state look into things and trying to fix them during my first couple years and having the resistance. So I'm thankful that you're on this. Hopefully it'll be better received to have these changes. And in addition to that, I understand that you're working with other elected officials. I actually had the exit interview. So the exit interview.
So that's what I was
into
going to
greater
ask.
Detail, and I could share with you.
Yes.
The recommendations.
So
Yeah.
when I just heard you say that you had the exit interview, which is fine. I do have a general question, and I don't want to overstep, but and I'm just curious, but is this exit interview or are these conversations privy to everybody? Because I feel like it would be helpful if we all heard the same message or got the same details, especially for me as the human resources director. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't believe you or that you can't give me the information and I don't trust that, but I feel like you're kind of the same. You like to see things and hear things and be part of the conversation. I don't feel like I can properly fix things unless I'm included and knowing what's going on, what documentation's been provided. Is there any documentation on the contrary that I can provide? Or, maybe there's something that's going on that we just haven't realized has been changed already or implemented. So I feel like it really needs to be not necessarily a group effort, but I feel like we just want to make sure we have the right players at the table. So
Well,
I'm asking.
Your meeting that you had with elected officials, did you get a notification of that? Did you go to that? Or is that something maybe she should be a part of
The only
to
thing
explain it
is,
to everybody in the group since
if
you
it
have a panel
wasn't-
doing
if
that?
it wasn't publicly advertised,
Correct.
that's why,
Yep. And that's why I said we could have one.
You can go to it.
I don't know.
We could
That's
have
fine,
one
yeah.
commissioner representative if that's what, and I sent the email out, maybe a couple, I did send it to everybody to let everybody know that that's what we were
Exactly, and
doing.
I'm not-
So we can have one commissioner representative. That's totally okay.
But I want to, I want to
Um,
be able to share. I can share with you what I have.
Okay.
I could give you the contact information for the individuals who were there. This is something that I've been working on since I got here.
Okay.
I was trying to improve things that.
So this
had been-
predates me. I'm
Yes,
just,
oh
okay.
my God, yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm
As soon as
given
I-
all the information, so we're not working on two different things.
Different
As
things.
soon
Yeah.
as soon as I arrived, I had things that I wanted to do to improve.
Okay.
Tried to implement them. They weren't well received, so I reported a lot of them to the state auditor to look at. And when they do that, it results in management letters and findings. Some of them will be forthcoming. Some of the things that were reported, they're still looking into. I have a list of those too. And I mean, I'll share everything with you and you can ask them if you want. So, but I want to make sure that we're moving forward and doing things
Yeah.
the right way.
Well, we
So-
have started, and that's just my only concern is so we already have 17 items that we're looking at or addressing through policies and procedures. If there's more, I just please make sure that we're aware so that way we can
I
do it all
I
one
have-
time.
I have the entire packet of everything that I went through. I have notes with every item. I could share them with you to make sure that they're the same things that you're working on. If there's anything additional, I can give it to you. And if you don't believe me, you're welcome to call.
I'd like to see a record of all that too. If you have it, I'd
Thank
like to
you.
see a copy of all that stuff to bring myself up to speed on it too.
No problem. I
And
mean,
so exit interviews are done at the request of the elected official. So every elected official, every elected official has the opportunity to respond and say that they want to participate in an exit interview. And so I was the only one who wanted to do that. But then I'm also extremely policy oriented and one of the reasons for the findings. So I want to make sure that things are.
okay, that makes sense. Cause I was just, I know I'm not an elected official, but because these things so heavily impact my day-to-day role in this county,
I could have.
I just want to make sure that I'm included on, so I can
I
hear.
actually, because so many of them are related to human resources, I probably could have asked you to come with me. I don't think they would have minded. I apologize for not even
No,
thinking about that, but I took notes for the purpose of
Okay.
communicating. them
And
with
as
you.
long as we get the
Okay.
documentation, we'll
Okay.
be able to work through these
Okay,
things.
thank you.
Okay, so did you have a point with that for a motion of something or
No.
just for the good of?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody from the floor? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn, taxpaying resident from Niles. First point I'd like to bring up is 2 weeks in a row, we've given people 75% tax abatements. I'd like to, I don't know if it's legal or illegal, but stress before you give these tax abatements that to use local workers. We have a great building trade in this county and Mahoning County, and they should be included in the deal. We're giving away 75% tax abatement. Let's use local workers, so at least when they're working, they're home and we still get that tax money from them. Second thing, I've been coming here since Miss Frenchco started, and I witnessed all the hullabaloo about last year's trip. I always wanted to ask the question, if you're going to go out of the area, spend taxpayer money, when you go to an event, can we have a public meeting on the discoveries and what happened at the meeting? What have you tried to bring back? What did you bring? Comprehensive. I never heard anything from last year's meeting, but how you wanted your money back and, you know, nothing as far as a plan. And you mentioned the airport, but I know Congressman Ryan was instrumental in that, Senator Johnson. And if you were, thank you very much. But if you're going to spend $535 a month on a hotel room, most of the average residents of Trumbull County will never stay in a $535 hotel room. At least you owe us the findings of your venture and what you did for us, what you're going to do for us. Thank you.
And I agree. I think that's reasonable in a sense that if any of us do things like that, we should report back to everybody. And maybe you did, you probably, this was before me, but I would ask too, I don't think that's an unreasonable request at all. That we have some synopsis afterward, maybe at one of the public meetings afterward, just a one-page synopsis maybe of
Oh,
who you met with and what you
Fine.
think was accomplished. I mean, that sounds reasonable to do that.
yeah. And if,
And if any of us go to any meetings or audits or whatever, same thing, we should share with people because we're just representatives of the people.
so one
No.
of the, we have a person from the news media here who actually communicated with me while I was still there waiting because I took the later flight and I gave him a lot of information about. They don't follow this newspaper? Okay. Well, I have
Yeah.
communicated it, even on social media, I've communicated everything that I did. So, oh, okay.
And you make up lies. I lifted my shirt up. I never. I did you all because every month of service. And I do apologize for that. I've tried to ensure since then, but like I've told you before, you will be called out on your stuff. And if you don't have the correct
Okay.
backing to back your stuff up, you will be called out.
As we all should be held accountable, every one of us.
And from my side also, I'm not afraid to call any of you three. I just want everything done, right? Oh, 5 months ago, you were saying that she was
Okay,
not.
this has been
qualified.
too.
Okay, yeah, let's not
Just saying.
dig up old dirt.
Breaks the- She's not qualified to be HR. I think she's doing a wonderful job. Is she
Are we
overstepped
asking
in?
people to go over the?
We're
Did he
having,
just flip me off again?
no, we did not.
Okay, 'cause he usually does.
Yeah.
Okay, just have him sit
You're
down.
gonna be held accountable, so make sure you're.
Sit down.
Okay, don't, yeah, don't,
Sit down.
you know, there's no need for that. There's no need for that. This was,
How to treat the regular taxpayer to pay her wage.
Okay,
And-
so
and-
as
Sit
it,
down.
anybody
as
else?
it
in-
relates to the, as it relates to the abatements that are given, those are negotiated between the political subdivision. So if you want to see something done, you would want to go to maybe Mayor, I know Arno Hill has a lot of them, maybe to the Liberty, go attend a Liberty meeting possibly. Because we take the recommendations and the agreements that they work on, and I do agree that it shouldn't be an afterthought or a comment, that it should be included that they're using local.
Well, we did have a public
Yeah.
hearing with them last week at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That two of the commissioners were at, and we did talk to them about that. And we did have Mr. Taylor go in the hallway with
Mhm.
the gentleman that's the owner contractor. And they were gonna work out a gentleman's agreement, maybe a memorandum
Gentleman's
of
agreement.
understanding. Something that where they felt comfortable. I met with Mr. Taylor afterward, and he felt comfortable that they are gonna try to use as much union labor as possible, local labor. And yeah, that's what my vote was
Yeah,
in regards that
Well,
they felt comfortable with it. They didn't oppose it. They were at the hearing. They didn't speak against it. Liberty supported it, and I have to trust the judgment of the other people too.
well, I agree with Mr. Glenn on that handshakes and gentlemen agreements aren't as good as putting something in writing to make sure that we have our local people represented and no one's bringing someone in from out of town or putting, we've seen too much of that happen here, especially in Lordstown, and I think that's important to do. And then as it,
Pop it up to 422.
I-
First comes
Okay.
in, they build and they're gone, you know. we're giving them tax abatement.
That won't be part of the record. It's
Well,
not identified up front.
no, the point is if someone is talking and we're unable to have.
If we're unable to hear them, we're unable to transcribe it anyway.
You cannot say that that's not part of the record, then you actually have to take notes about it and put in written meeting minutes. You can't just say that is omitted from being a part. of
I
the
just
record.
said it
I
was
wouldn't say that.
inaudible and not to the public record
It
without.
wasn't inaudible. I heard him. So you take notes and if you're in here.
Then if you want to transcribe what he said, then loudly, then it'll be on the
Make
record.
Research papers and meeting minutes now. Okay. Transcriptions.
Anybody else from the floor? Auditor Yoder.
Auditor Yoder, I was hoping that Beth Carmichael would be here today from the Tourism Bureau because I wanted to compliment her. And I just want to point out that the AAA Motorist little newspaper that comes to those of us who are AAA members in Northeast Ohio has a really nice write-up about Trumbull County. And the headline is Trumbull County, a rustic Ohio blessing. And it starts out with hospitality and down-to-earth kindness best describe a piece of heaven tucked away on the northeast border of Ohio. And it ends with Trumbull County is a special place, one that a single visit won't be enough to absorb its incredible attributes. It's a rustic Mecca overflowing with leisurely interested, amiable people. It might be better to name it Humble County. Very good write-up. And I know that Beth was responsible for this. It covers a lot of things, talks about Cockeye Barbecue and Creamery, our wineries. It's great if you get a chance to check it out, but it'll hopefully draw some people here for tourism, which is a good economic development thing. So I just wanted to point it out.
And right now I'll make a point too, that April and May is the highest 2 months of tourism as far as sportsmen fishing. The spawn is pretty much done now, but the causeway's been lined up with nothing but Cuyahoga County and Geauga and Lake County plates and Summit County plates over the last 2 weeks. And the fish are in 4 to 8 foot of water for the most part. If anyone's coming out from all the fishing reports they have, people are getting good catches right now on mosquito. So it is a time, if they have time this weekend, free fishing days is coming up at the beginning of June where they don't need a license. You can go to a wildlife.com. And that's the Ohio Division of Wildlife site actually to find out about the free fishing weekend. Also for outdoor enthusiasts, if you want to take the kids for a ride this weekend, there are 4 osprey nests on the same road that you can see, and you can watch them come and feed the young from various viewpoints. One of them is at the corner of Route 5 and 305. One of them is across from Mark Thomas Ford on the cell tower. One of them is across from St. Robert's Church, right at the entrance to St. Robert's Church on the telephone pole. And then one of them is on Route 46, about a mile south of Mecca Circle on the east side, a telephone pole there also. All of them have active nests now with eggs in the nest or young osprey. And you can watch them come in with fish and snakes and all kind of critters into the nest. They're pretty active. So if you're want to take the kids on a drive, it's something neat to see. It's a rare opportunity to see it. It only happens for a short time frame, 1 month a year. And it started out with First Energy about 15 years ago. They put a hacking post on the north end of Mosquito Lake, which was just basically a telephone pole with a board on it. Ospreys found it. They bred there. Their young have expanded all through the lake. And now I think we have about 16 active osprey nests around the lake and 40 active eagles nests in Ohio. So now's the time to go see them with the weather being good for the next 2 weeks, not forecasting rain. So this is my little 2 cents worth.
And to piggyback on that, when I went to the grand opening ribbon cutting for the marina, I talked to someone from the park at the Mosquito Lake website. So they have a list of all of the activities that they have there going on. There are so many things that are happening at the lake that and they're reorganizing the way they do their website. So you can see like there's bird watching, there's all these different events that are going on right at the lake that are, it's nice that they're taking the time to organize everything for the people who are interested in that type of thing. And also the kickoff for African American Achievement Festival this weekend, right on our county seat. And that's one of the things our county is known for is our county of festivals. So I just wanted to mention that too. So
Anybody else from the floor? Anybody from the phone lines? If you want to be identified or speak, hit *6 on your phone line and then identify yourself by name.
Deb Roth,
And where are you from?
Warren Township.
Okay, go ahead.
The questions I have pertain to the sanitary sewer project for Meadowbrook. I have spoke to a high EPA about it, so I was just wondering, one, what the status of the PTI was. Two, does the PTI have to include property location to be approved? Three, what property is listed for the PTI? Four, what date does the PTI have to be approved by for the submittal of the funding for the loan forgiveness things that's coming up in August? And are we targeted to be approved in the timeframe required for the PTI to be approved for the time frame that's required? And it's also my understanding that along with the PTI, we have to have the permit to discharge as well to get the approval on the loan forgiveness. I just want to know, has the county placed this as a top priority? We have been waiting since 2007's consent decree to get this in, and it's been very slow moving. We lost the loan forgiveness opportunity last year, and we don't want to lose it this year. So we just want to make sure we have assurances from Trumbull County and the commissioners as well that things are in place to go for this year's funding.
Okay, thank you. Gary Newbrower is here. He's gonna try to answer your question the best he can regarding Meadowbrook.
Yeah, Gary Newbrow, Trumbull County Sanitary Engineer. The PTI, well, the permit to install and the MPDES permit are both out for public comment right now. The EPA has preliminary given them their approval to all our specs, to the drawings. And like I said, it went out to public comment and it is under a 30-day public comment period at this time. After the 30-day period, we're probably looking at getting the PTI and the MPDES permit approved sometime in July. So that definitely meets the requirement for our next nomination to the WPCLF program for next year. We should max out on the points, and I feel very comfortable that we will get the $4 million of principal forgiveness for phase one of that project. I'm trying to remember some of his other
She
questions.
had her deadline. I don't know if we were within the deadline.
Yeah, the nominations will be due normally on September 1st of every year. And like I said, we'll have the PTI approved and the MPDS permit approved sometime in July.
Okay, Ms. Roth, anything else that he did not answer there?
I asked for what's the property location that system's going to be installed on?
We are putting the package plant right there as you cross the bridge near the falls. Behind the there's some sort of a dairy mart or something there on a corner. And it's on Warren Township property. And the first phase will be extending the trunk line down Meadowbrook to the east, and we'll also be extending some up Levitt Road. And there's a couple other residential roads there that we're picking up. And we want to assure that we have enough flow to keep the new package plant biologically balanced once we do start it up.
When are you going to start the activity to secure that property from the township?
he's already.
Because I don't want us to be in red tape that's going to happen, with nobody's fault.
As a matter of
for
fact,
happening, but we need to
I
start that.
wanna- I want to speak, okay, so we allow people to speak and to give their 2-minute comments or questions, and then after that, we allow, it's the board and the employees who are going to address that. We don't have back and
Well,
forth.
That
commu-
is this,
No,
that
we
is
don't.
discretion of the chair to
Yeah.
do that. He was walking up when she asked the questions, didn't hear all. She had 5 questions in a row. She's reiterating what she had already asked previously that he may not have.
It
caught
sounded,
on his way up.
it sounded like back and forth conversation. You make your comments. I believe our staff should be able to respond. We should respond. And if they have any further questions, they can contact our employees afterwards. I just don't want to continue this back and forth, back and
This
forth.
is for the good of all the residents who live in the Meadowbrook area to hear this.
I understand.
Continue,
but
Mr.
I just
Newbrow.
think that our structure, we need
And
to
I have
follow
six
the
questions.
proper structure.
We are in open discussion. Mr. Newbrower, it's your floor.
Yeah, Ms. Roth, what other questions did you have?
Did you look to acquire the property from Warren Township?
Oh, yes, as a matter of
Because
fact, I have the paperwork together right now and I'm prepared to send it over to the prosecutor's office for their final review in order to make that property transfer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Mr. Newbrower, for that
Thank you.
explanation to the citizens there.
Also, I am still hoping that we can get this covered in our budget, the state budget. So that would be,
If you
that
can get us additional
I've
funds,
been working-
I'll be more than happy.
that was
to-
my primary request in dealing with a state representative. So we'll find out. It's Representative Loychek just.
That'd be awesome for
Ju-
them. Lloyd could come
yeah.
through with funding for that project.
He just recently was given, based on the redistricting, he just acquired Warren Township as part of his area. And I let him know the importance of that for the county-wide and that it's a consent decree. So I am absolutely, I've talked to him, we'll see soon enough, but that was my priority for Trumbull County. So hopefully,
Okay,
Okay.
all right, yes, I'm always looking for as much funding as we can possibly get.
right, yeah. Thank you.
Any other callers on the line? *6.
Motion to adjourn?
Without hearing any other callers, I'll give you a second.
Excuse me. Yes, this is Patricia Shepard from the Trumbull County Mental Health and Recovery Board.
Yes,
And
go
we
ahead.
just
You can
wanna-
be recognized.
We just wanted to thank you for the appointment to our board.
Well, not a problem. That's something that she comes recommended by you. You guys know your board better than anybody. And I trust your judgment on that. And as I see, they've kind of appointed the board members
No.
more so than us recommending
that's
people
not-
in this case.
No, actually, the process for the Mental Health and Recovery Board is more statutory. So there's an application that they fill out. There has to be people that meet certain criteria. So they do a review to make sure that there's no conflicts and so on and so forth. And at that, I believe she was the only one that we had who applied. That's the only application that we had in our file. So some of the.
But that was presented by them at the mental health board to us
Okay.
after they
It's-
deemed that person met the qualifications.
Okay,
It was a commissioner's appointment for
it's a
this.
commissioner's appointment.
This appointment
It's
was.
not, it's not. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Just trying to explain.
motion to adjourn, Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.